Hey everybody, what a great film, I have to say. And with us right now, first, I'm Charlie Kirk. Hey everybody. And with us are the amazing masterminds behind what you just saw. And whose children are they, was the question that was posed. And I think we all know the answer to that. Let's go around the horn. First, the director, Jonathan Flora.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Look forward
Appreciate
to
it very
getting
much.
this with you. And
Absolutely.
of course,
Thank
then
you.
Deborah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you,
Good.
Charlie.
And then Rebecca Friedrichs, of course. We've known each other for a while. So
Wonderful to be here with you.
So let's just start with you, Rebecca. Why did you make this documentary? And then just introduce yourself also to the audience. I'm sure they have a grasp a little bit of kind of your work, but why did you decide to do this film?
Sure. Well, I'm Rebecca Friedrichs, and I've been a teacher for a very long time. And our classrooms have gotten very corrupt. And that happened because parents and good teachers are no longer in charge. Government unions are in charge. So we created this movie to expose that every single problem that's going on in our schools is the result of these corrupt government unions who have taken the authority away from parents and good teachers.
And that really is the question, isn't it, Deborah, which is, whose children are they? Back in the gubernatorial race in Virginia, not to politicize this, it was just the statement that was made. One person running for governor said the children are the states. Another person said the children are that of the parents. Mm-hmm. That's the central question, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. And that's why I founded Parents Unite America, why Rebecca and Jonathan and I came together to make this movie, because honestly, it is the crossroads that we're at. The Marxist idea that from the moment a child can be without their parent, they're in the care of the state, and therefore the state has the right to teach them not just reading, writing, arithmetic, which they're failing miserably at, but ultimate values. And this uprising we're seeing and that I've seen through this organization is that awakening. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, you're a mom and a dad first. And our goal was to drag all of this into the light so that this grassroots movement keeps going,
yes.
That it's the spearhead of the movement.
So, Jonathan, tell us just a little bit about putting this movie together, right? Because you did it really quickly, in kind of a movie sense as far as like putting together these pieces. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a little different than what I've done for the last 2 decades. I was a producer at Walt Disney Studios, and now we get to work on movies that actually mean something. They can make a difference. And where this was challenging was we interviewed over 80 people. We have 120 hours of footage, and everybody has these incredible stories. And each one of these individuals represents so many other people, be they parents, teachers, students out in the country. So I think there's a lot of relatable stories, but as Deborah was saying, it really drags what's going on in our schools into the light. And COVID was a big thing that parents finally caught up with teachers as they were able to see what they were doing behind the school walls.
So, Rebecca, we've known each other for a while. You're calling for an army of teachers to rise up and reject the unions. Tell us about that.
Well, teachers have been deceived for many years. They thought the unions were their friends. They thought the unions were there to, get them a raise or something. But the truth is the unions are using teachers as pawns to fund a very radical far-left agenda. They collect billions annually from teachers, tax-free, and they spend it all on that agenda and also on indoctrinating our children. So something we know as teachers on the inside is that most teachers don't agree with this agenda at all. They just don't know what to do about it.
Right.
So we're trying to help them to awaken to see that, did you know that teachers and parents standing together could really help save this country? How could they do that? By helping teachers with a mass union exit. Teachers don't have to pay unions anymore. We brought a lawsuit. We won them the right to stop paying unions. Most don't know that.
It was your case, and then it wasn't your case, but you were the pioneer, right?
For sure, we blazed the trail.
That's right. It was the same decision, but it was your case. But just I want to reemphasize that if anyone knows a teacher, you are a teacher. It's almost a tax cut right now. I mean, in times of inflation and all this, you could, at some districts, you could save $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a year. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. And they need to know they can get better liability coverage for just a couple $100 a year, better coverage, double the coverage for a fraction of the price. And that's what teachers are afraid of, that they're going to lose that coverage.
Right.
So we can take care of you. For Kids and Country, we'll take care of you.
So what's the website?
It's forkidsandcountry.org.
And you could save money. That's the thing. So Deborah, I want to ask you, look, the teacher unions can be very intimidating, right? They could be ruthless. Mm-hmm. I mean, I deal with all sorts of different types of groups like that. We're really big on educational mobility and parental choice. So can you talk about how difficult it is to stand up against this cartel? Because that's what it really is.
Without a doubt. But now is the time to. I mean, when it comes to your children, parents are realizing this is the dividing point. We cannot go this way any further. And the reality is, Charlie, it's not just the unions, although they are the ones that bully. When I stood up in our school board and many others did, we immediately got a lot of hate. But when you also see the arm of the government weaponizing the DOJ and calling parents terrorists, there is a definite attempt to silence parents, which actually shows that we're doing something and we're actually making the other side afraid. Because honestly, for every bureaucrat, for every union member, there are an exponential more member of parents. And if we just all come together, stand with good teachers, this will be over. This is the time that they overplayed their hands because parents saw it. And honestly, that's really the call to action. We can't be afraid. These are our children. And they're just bullies trying to silence us, but they really can't. And it needs to be about educational freedom and the money following the student, not the system. That's what parents have to stand for.
Yeah, it really was kind of a turning point when the Department of Justice came out and they all of a sudden said that parents are domestic terrorists. What did you see with parents in response to that?
You know, it's funny. I mean, I do think people put up with a lot, but when it comes to their kids, that's it. I mean, in our own school district, they called us dissenters. The teachers' unions call parents barriers. Well, we're standing up and saying, you know what, we're not a Marxist society. We know that we have the ultimate authority of our children's lives. And honestly, the more that they tried to bully people, the more people rose up. And we're talking to people that were Democrats, independents, unaffiliated. This has nothing to do with political parties, everything to do with the most fundamental right that we know that we have. And you know what? It's time for all of us to stand together. That's why we did the movie, to keep it going.
So Jonathan, as you put together the movie, you know, you want to make an argument, but you also want to allow the narrative, you know, the narrative and the interview to speak for itself. Talk a little bit about that. What was some of the goals you were trying to go after as far as the argument you were trying to make?
Well, and you nailed it initially, because this can't be an attack piece, because then you're only going to really relate to a small segment. It has to be a persuasive conversation. It has to be an expose, and it had a journalistic approach to it at the same time. It's finding out what's going on, and nothing works better than stories. So when these individuals are sharing their firsthand experiences, and then somebody in the audience is going, that's our story, or this is our story, they also realize they're not so isolated, and they can come together with other people and shoulder and be that unified voice.
Yeah, and it must be important to remember that you want to get the viewer to come to their own conclusions, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to beat them over
100%.
the head. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, and that's it. When you have an individual saying that they had their kids go to another school district that was literally just 2 blocks away, but the zip code was different, and she gets thrown in jail for that, people, I think, can come right away and say that wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, and some of these things are just extremes, and we see the attack methods that you have talked about earlier with the union or union-backed teachers or just union-backed individuals that are often misled. They don't hold back in what they do, but we can't repeat in kind. We have to stay with the argument that we have, because morality is on our side. I truly believe, because they are our children.
Well, absolutely. So Rebecca, you know, we look at all of this together. You know, we know the intimidation tactics of the teacher unions. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that as well.
Well, these intimidation tactics have made it so that it's almost impossible for teachers to escape. They're just afraid, or they're deceived. So one of the things that we do as part of this movement that we call For Kids and Country is we help people to learn how to, what we call, adopt a teacher. We want you to adopt a bunch of teachers, but put your arms around them, embrace them, educate them by bringing them to this movie, you know, giving them the information that we have for them, and helping them to leave these unions. They're too afraid, most are too afraid to do it alone, but with an army of parents standing behind them, they would absolutely leave these unions.
Yeah, and one of the major ways we'll actually get this system disrupted is that alliance between parents and teachers. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. So we always had what I call the education triangle: the child, the parent, and a good teacher working together. The unions came in, destroyed it. They removed the voice of parents by bringing in collective bargaining. And so we need to bring parents back into the equation, a big part, a huge part of the equation. Teachers supporting them and their children, and we can fix it overnight.
So, Deborah, I want to just kind of go around the horn one more time. Are you optimistic about what you're seeing?
I'm incredibly optimistic. I mean, I started this organization that I was running, Parents United America, 3 years ago after the sex education, and one would have thought that would have been enough. But it wasn't quite, because parents are busy. They're just busy, and they don't believe, and I've got to say that's the hardest thing we had to show parents so they could actually see what was in the sex education in this movie. But then COVID happened and everybody woke up. This is our time. And parents are realizing the power that they have to stand with teachers, to vote for school board members that are not union oriented, and talk about the bully tactics. Wherever good school board members are elected, the unions immediately jump in and try to do a recall. But we have to stand with those people who are standing for us. And they're going to realize that we have this opportunity to make sure that the funds follow the student, not the system. Good teachers are rewarded, and it's all brought to light. But I'm incredibly optimistic. I actually think, by the way, Charlie, this isn't just a turning point for our schools and our children, which is the future. It's the turning point for our country. Those with a far left agenda have overplayed their hand. It's literally hit people right at home, and it's going to turn everything around. This is our chance if we keep going and don't stop.
Jonathan, are you optimistic after interviewing all these experts and putting this together?
I absolutely am, because again, people can relate to the stories they're seeing there, and wrong is wrong. And this has really been quite the unifier in a persuasive way. Independents, but also liberals. As Deborah said earlier, this isn't a party situation. It's right and wrong, and their parents first.
Yeah, that really is amazing. Talk a little bit more about how the non-political nature of that, because I think that's really important.
Well, we said earlier that this wasn't a political movie, but politics will find it. But at the end of the day, these are our children. The way they should be raised, we should have a voice in that. So when you have a governor of a state in Virginia saying parents should not have a say, that kind of riled people up, and people were paying attention that weren't paying attention before. And as we said, that's the silver lining of COVID. Because we would always ask our kids, how was school today? And that would be it. Now we saw what they were being taught, and a lot of people were very shocked.
The transparency made change.
Complete.
So Rebecca, in closing, any other thoughts or things you want to make sure the audience walks away with?
I just want to say I'm enthusiastic and also encouraged, because for so many years there was just a handful of us fighting this fight. And like Deborah said, people didn't believe us that it was that bad. And a lot of them are teachers. The majority of teachers are these great people doing good things for kids. So we're just very excited that more people have awakened. We hope and pray that more of them will join us, join our movement, and just adopt teachers and get them out of the union. And we believe we can save America standing together.
So let's go through the websites again that references for kidsandcountry.com, is that right?
kidsandcountry.org.
.org. And any other resources you guys want to make them aware of?
Absolutely. So this is just the beginning of the journey of the movie, so stay tuned, and it's whosechildrenarethay.com. So we made this just as a resource. Please use it, share it with your friends, because together we can foment this into a movement that truly is a watershed moment in our history for our children, for our country.
I love it. And if you guys want to check out Turning Point USA, go to tpusa.com. We're here at the Turning Point USA headquarters. We're going after this educational fight in our own way.
Yes.
But also very important, it's tpusa.com. Love the movie, and thank you guys for watching through it. Exposing the hidden agenda in America's schools. We need all parents on board. So God bless all you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
so
God
much for
bless
having
you.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys.
Charlie.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Charlie.
You bet.